When people think about lifestyle, they often think about fashion, luxury, jewelry, vacations, fast cars. And as much as I love those things, I feel like there's one part of lifestyle that almost nobody talks about: your mind. Intelligence is the most important form of lifestyle you can have. The kind of conversations you have, the people that you attract in your life, books you read, and also the opportunities you can create for yourself in life. And that's just as much as luxury as anything money can buy. Exactly 1 year ago, at this time, I was trying to break into high finance with no internship at a major bank. And anyone who's in this industry or who's trying to break into finance knows very well that majority of their recruitment as analysts for undergraduate happens from their summer interns and the interns that get a returning offer. And 99% of the spots for full-time analysts are filled by there. So basically, if you have no internship, you're competing in a 1% market, and the odds are all against you. I was just trying to find a way to network and find referrals so I could make my case more stronger. And in all this, I met a MD at Bank of America who basically changed my life. He got me 4 interviews at Bank of America, nor did he just get me those interviews, he helped me prepare for it. And simultaneously, he also introduced me to other hedge funds and asset managements in the city and tried helping me get positions there. So, shout out to the team of Bank of America, not just the MD. Once I got in touch with the MD, I was continuously working with the whole recruitment team, from the junior recruitment team to the senior in New York, London, and everyone was genuinely trying to help me. And that was something that I was shocked seeing, because why would they help me? And everyone was just so sweet, so nice. And yeah, he basically told me, so the MD, basically how I got his attention was I showed him genuine interest. I showed him that I have the knowledge. I showed him that, I'm ready to do anything that it takes. And also he knew that I had all the odds stacked against me. Like, I had no internship. I was an international student, and the chances of I was basically competing. I was basically playing my cards that were not in my favor. Like, everything was against me. So, and maybe I just got lucky. I don't know. But he helped me a lot. And these are the things that he told me that I feel like if you do it, if you have interviews with any bank or any finance roles, I think this will just increase your chances of getting that role. And I'm not saying it will guarantee it, but I'm saying that I feel like this is the insider advice that I've got from a MD, and I think it could be very useful for you, especially if you're someone who's trying to get an internship right now. If you just say these things in the interview, you have the internship. You have it. The only reason it was very difficult for me was because, again, all odds were against me. So the 4 roles that I interviewed for at Bank of America was, the first one was the Collateral Analyst in New York. Then the second one was agency mortgage structuring and trading in New York. Third one was structured product valuation in New York. And the last one was in EMEA, debt capital markets. It was an off-cycle internship in London for 6 months. So how we even got to a point where we were like, okay, we should start interviewing for internships, was because it was so difficult, just convincing someone to give you a full-time role without you having any experience with them or any bank. So, and in all these 4 roles, we made it till the final round chat. We were in the final round, but of course, destiny had other plans. So in all this, even though I got to the final round and I was this close to getting in with my next interview, I found an opportunity in New York in marketing that basically screamed me. And marketing is something that I've always pursued without pursuing, if you know what I mean. Like, it's not something I always wanted to do, but somehow my life would always, circle back to that. Even the nonprofit I ran since I was 15 is a whole marketing project, and it took me to places and opened doors for me that I never thought it would. So I currently am not pursuing this, but I feel like the advice is very useful when I prepared for this. So the first advice he gave me was, he didn't give me a cheat sheet. He didn't give me all answers to, okay, these are the questions that you're going to be asked, and these are the answers to that. He didn't do that. What he did rather is made sure that I become knowledgeable. He told me that these are the two Bibles of finance. No matter what role you're applying to, whether it be banking, mortgage, DCM, investment banking, anything related to finance, these are your two Bibles. Just blindly trust me on this, guys. Number 1 is John Hull's Options, Futures, and Derivatives. Number 2 is Frank Fabozzi's Handbook of Fixed Income. These are two old school thick books that you will find on Amazon or anywhere else. They are really big books, and once you study this, I basically studied these to understand everything about derivatives, options, equilibrium, you name it, bonds, because I was interviewing for every kind of role that was out there. The goal was, in the end, for him to just get me in the club. And every time I would give an interview, the first thing I will open with is this book. And that was one of the things that made me memorable every single time and made me stand out. Because the recruiter will directly be like, oh, damn, like, you know those books? Because these are the books that people in the 90s studied from and prepped for. In this era, nobody really, like, people our age, nobody is really reading these thick books. So this becomes a point of relatability, and something that also a lot of people you're competing with for that role aren't mentioning it. So study these books. These are something you really wanna mention in your interview, because it creates a good structure and it shows that you know a lot of things about the market. The second thing, and I know this because we used to talk about after the interview of, like, trying to figure out what went wrong, because we were so prepared. Like, everything was in it. The MD was trying to convince the recruiter that you need to hire her. And when we used to analyze what all things work, this used to always be a major thing. The recruiter will get back with, she has the most technical knowledge. Her background is in applied mathematics. Like, nobody who we were interviewing had such good background and such good knowledge, but we don't think it's a good fit. We never knew why. So the last interview I gave was in London, in EMEA, which is Europe, Middle East, Africa. And the only thing the recruiters could say who interviewed me, he was like, we just cannot understand why she wants to join DCM. But anyways, so this is something that will help you a lot. Number 2 that he told me to say, do is every day I used to read Financial Times and Bloomberg every day, not to just, like, memorize that, oh, this is the recent news I know, oh, this is, I know what I'm, no, not to like show that, oh, I know everything that's going on, no, but to rather understand how the market is moving, and from that I can prepare my interviews. So let's say my last interview was in debt capital markets, and one of the major conversations we had was, where the yield curves are going currently and what kind of yield curve we are. And according to that, if there's a company who wants to get into a long-term or short-term bond, how do they decide that? And I gave them an example of a current company. I think that time it was BMW or someone. And I was like, oh, these are the current stats for them, and this is how the market's moving. So I think currently for that company to get into a long-term bond, it would be a perfect idea. And then he was like, oh, so how would you then define that? Then he was like, oh, once the prices are fixed, like how would the swaps work? How would they buy in dollar or euro? And all that I was able to answer from John Hull's Derivatives. These two books, guys, if you are an undergraduate right now, and if you just study these two books and just give the interview, you'll have it. I'm telling you, you will have it. So these are the two key things I feel like were very, very useful, not just in finance, but I also feel like in any other field you're trying to get in. And the third thing he gave me feedback on after all these interviews we gave was there was a point where a lot of recruiters felt in financial markets that I was deviating from what the job was, because this was a reality hit for us. When you're interviewing, you're trying to stand out and be like, oh, I do this, I have these international awards. But as long as any of those activities are not related to finance, they don't really care. So one of the things that bit me in my ass was me talking about how big my nonprofit is and how much work I've done, which kind of made the recruiters feel like my time would be further, consumed by external activities that I do. And in the end, all they're trying to find is a person who's just gonna, get the job done, who's just gonna work. If they give them this Excel, if they give them this model, they just want a model built. And if they find out, oh, you have more other things going on in life that they feel like will consume your time or distract you, or they just don't want it. So avoid talking anything. You can mention it, but don't talk too much about it. Because in the end, all they're looking is for a worker. It's corporate America. It's finance. All they're looking for is a slave. Let's be real. Not a slave. I don't want to get too controversial, but all they're looking for is a person who's gonna get the job done. Period. So these are the things I feel like can be very useful for you, and don't hesitate to reach out to people. Don't hesitate doing anything. Just shoot your shot. So looking back, the biggest lesson wasn't a cheat sheet or a formula or a finance trick. Your clothes might make you stand out. Your confidence might help you start conversations, but your knowledge is something what will make you memorable. And on this channel, of course, we're gonna talk a lot about fashion, luxury, fast cars, and even travel. But the goal here is to help you build a lifestyle where you are proud of your bookshelf as much as you're proud of your closet. Because real lifestyle isn't just about looking expensive, but it's about becoming valuable. And that's a lifestyle worth building. So, and always remember, even I don't know what phase you would be in life right now, but always remember, even if some things work out for you, some things don't, and you always question that I worked so hard on this and what went wrong, whether it be a job, a relationship, your life, family, anything. Always remember, if it's not happy, it's not the ending. Thank you so much, and you can comment down below what next video you would like to watch. And thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you at the next video.